and I was just trying to get out.
So I listened to the 911 call, Dennis, so I kind of know the basics of what you told police.
Okay.
How confident are you, I mean, that seeing pictures of Brian Laundrie, that it was definitely him?
Oh, I'll tell you what. When I first saw him, I didn't know what he looked like, and I drove about 15 minutes down the road because the guy was just acting weird. I didn't want to be in that area any longer. And when I opened up that picture, and the first picture I saw of him was a portrait view, and the thing that stood out was that black mustache and beard, and it's really tight, really thick. And I saw that first profile or portrait view of him. I knew absolutely it was him. After I called the FBI, I was looking again, and I saw a profile view of him. And of course, he was sitting in his truck, so most of the time I saw the profile view of him. And my heart, my chest, because it was just so.
Awesome.
Mr. Laundrie, do you have one good thing to say about your son? Mr. Laundrie, you done a search for him today.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching and tuning in. Alright. Let's do it.
The live stream is not going to work because the service is just too bad out here. I tried AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile. We're like in the middle of nowhere in this reserve. But here's the latest. So Christopher Laundrie left the house this morning in the red truck, came here to the reserve, parked over there, kind of behind the trees. He was then picked up on sort of an all-terrain golf cart looking little vehicle by law enforcement, and then they took him over here behind where this Northport police cruiser is, down that dirt road and over the bridge and into the reserve. So we don't know where he is right now, but Christopher Laundrie is here with law enforcement assisting. A lot of you have wanted to hear Jennifer's take on this. I can't get her on Zoom because the service is too bad.
He videoed the whole project. Serves.
That Christopher Laundrie, Brian's dad, might be going out to assist law enforcement at the reserve, and that is exactly what happened bright and early this morning, but still no sign of Brian Laundrie. We haven't seen him leave the house in days, but early this morning, Brian Laundrie's father, Christopher, came out of the house carrying a plastic bag, got into his truck, and went to the Carlton Reserve.
This is the laundry truck. This is the one that tows the camper. This is the one that's always in front of the house.
The truck parked, and Christopher Laundrie got onto this all-terrain vehicle with law enforcement, heading out into the vast swamp to look for his son, searching with police and the FBI on foot. 3 hours later, the vehicle Laundrie was riding in was towed out, and he drove away in his red truck. Did you see anything? Christopher, did you see anything? Laundrie was being tailed by FBI agents, so we followed to see where they were going next. So they're going to some kind of other neighborhood. A few miles from the reserve, Laundrie stopped his truck next to the FBI SUV where there was some kind of discussion in this neighborhood. And then they were on the move again before he returned back to his house. Mr. Laundrie, did you see anything at the reserve? Anything to say about what you saw at the reserve? Any sign of your son, Mr. Laundrie? We later learned from the Laundrie family attorney, Stephen Bertolino, that Laundrie was asked to show police the trails and places he's hiked with his son. There were no discoveries, but the effort was helpful to all. It seems the water in the preserve is receding and certain areas are more accessible to search. The entire Laundrie family is grateful for the hard work of the dedicated members of law enforcement that have been searching the preserve for Brian over the last few weeks. Hopefully, Brian will be located soon. Okay, so still no sign of Brian Laundrie tonight, and it's unclear if this was sort of a one-time thing or if Christopher Laundrie will be going back to the swamp tomorrow.
Brian, you mentioned that they stopped at this neighborhood along their route today. Do we know why? Any connection?
We don't know why, but it was interesting because when we were following them when they left the swamp, we assumed he'd be headed back to the house. They made a different turn, went away from the house, went into that neighborhood. It appeared there was a specific reason they were there, but we still don't know why.
Well, and we know that they know the world is watching them right now, but are police outside the house round the clock? And when they leave, are they being followed?
It does appear they're being followed when they leave. Several times they've left the house. We've seen unmarked cars following them. There's no marked vehicles outside the house tonight, but I'd be surprised if there isn't someone somewhere keeping an eye on things.
Brian, we keep getting a lot of questions about Dog
Brian
the Bounty
Laundrie's
Hunter, and he was following some
embattled father finally joined the hunt for his fugitive son today in a Florida swamp. Chris Laundrie drove to the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park in his red pickup. He had to wait several minutes while cops found a key to unlock the gates. He was later walking a trail with a police officer. I spoke with Nancy Grace, host of Crime Stories on Fox Nation. Can he actually help, or do you think this is a smokescreen?
We have to take the fact that Laundrie's father is now joining the search with a box of salt. He's not going out there with a machete or a team of dogs. So what can he actually do? Maybe
With a box of salt, guys.
Identify an object.
The family's attorney told Inside Edition that Laundrie's father showed cops favorite trails he and his son had hiked together. There were no discoveries, but the effort was helpful to all. The water in the reserve is receding, and certain areas are more accessible. Hopefully, Brian will be located soon. But others believe it could all be a sham.
How suspicious is all this?
I mean, it's very suspicious.
We spoke with Callahan Walsh, co-host of In Pursuit with his father, John Walsh.
In my mind, either he's giving Brian information on what that search is and where it is right now, or he's trying to curry favor with the U.S. public.
Police have been flying drones with thermal cameras over the swamp and probing with airboats. Survival trainer Brooke Wright recently showed me what Laundrie must be doing if he's alive in the swamp.
Collecting rainwater, in the absence of not having, being able to boil water, you can always do that and utilize palm fronds like this to collect that water and use that as your source of hydration.
So he could literally just drink the water right off these leaves.
Yep.
And that will keep him going for a little bit of time.
Absolutely.
Keep your eyes peeled for gators here. Alligators conceal themselves everywhere. There's one right there. And look, just a few feet from the ATV that Laundrie's father was riding, a huge alligator lurking in the undergrowth.
So you just saw the latest of the families speaking out. Again, they have been very vocal during this time, not only when the search had been taking place, but after her body had been found and confirmed that it was their missing 22-year-old. Now, of course, they are putting out that plea that Brian Laundrie turn himself in. Let's go out to that story where Fox's Laura Engel sat down with the Petito Schmidt family.
They were planning a wedding, small, on the beach in Florida, and COVID happened.
Right.
So they kind of put it on hold and said that they were going to just kind of live life. And
yeah, it wasn't their main focus at the time. The main focus was planning this trip.
But Gabby never came back. Only Brian returned home.
The night I knew the van was in Florida, I instinctively knew that my daughter was not here anymore.
Gabby Petito's mother, Nicole Schmidt, sharing the moment police told her they located her daughter's van.
I screamed. I didn't mean to scream at the detective. I said, "Where's my daughter? Where is she?"
What did they say?
She just said, "I wish I knew the answer to that."
8 days later, Gabby's body was found in Wyoming. Her stepfather, Jim Schmidt.
it was the hardest phone call that I've ever made in my life. I knew what to expect when we went out there and what the strong possibility was. Still, nothing could really prepare you for that moment.
Never.
As the manhunt for Brian Laundrie continues, I asked them if they had any ideas where he could be.
I'm not certain, but I would think that he's in an area like the Appalachian Trail or a campground where he can live off the land because he had those skills.
Do you think he's alive? Do you think he's in the country?
I do believe he's alive. You know, country, I have no idea. I don't know.
Gabby's mother tweeting, "Mama Bear is getting angry. Turn yourself in."
People want to know how I'm feeling, and I'm upset. You know, I want to just turn yourself in. That's all I wanted. But it's just getting more and more frustrating as days go on. I don't know what's taking so long.
Gabby's family wants him found alive.
He's a missing piece of the puzzle to find out what
I always
happened.
say he's the key. He's the key to the puzzle.
What happened out there? You know, until they find him, we won't know.
We believe he knows everything.
And if they had one thing to say to Brian,
just turn yourself in. Just go to the local police department or wherever you are. Whatever the circumstances are, whatever happened, just go there, do the right thing. Do the right thing for yourself, do the right thing for Gabby, for our family, and for your own family.
Yeah, we deserve the truth.
while they wait for the answers they need, they are turning their grief into good, establishing the Gabby Petito Foundation, which they hope will help other families of missing children get financial resources and the public attention they have received in their case.
We're trying to make a difference and trying to make sense of it because there's a lot of people that do need help, so we're trying to focus on that, to make sure there's some good that comes from this.
I think it starts locally and then it trickles up from there. Social media is huge and people just need to put the awareness out there. And there's a lot of help out there now that we'd like to work with a lot of people, like the Aware Foundation, and We Help the Missing is another one.
So once again, the family just pleading and saying they want Brian to turn himself in so that they can hear exactly what may have happened and unfolded in those days ahead of Brian returning to Florida.
Hear about the hiker.
Clues in the hunt for Brian Laundrie.
Just the way he was acting, the things that he was saying, made me think that he was not stable.
Hiker Dennis Davis meeting with the FBI today after contacting law enforcement over the weekend, saying he had an encounter with a man he believed to be Brian Laundrie.
I'm 99.99% sure that was him.
What made you so sure it was Brian?
I pulled open another picture of him, and it was a profile view. And of course, that's the angle that I had for the majority of the time that I was talking with Brian. And when I opened up that picture of him, my body, I had a physical reaction to it. My heart jumped out of my rib cage. It felt like my blood started pumping. There was just no doubt in my mind. Again, the way my whole body reacted to that encounter.
Davis says he was on a hiking trip on the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina near the border of Tennessee. He was driving around 12:30 a.m. on Saturday morning when a man waved him over for help.
He went on to tell me that him and his girlfriend had a fight, that she called him and told him that she loved him. And then he told me he was trying to get to California to see her. I basically sat in my car wide awake for the next 4 hours, 5 hours, because I couldn't go to sleep. I mean, I was just super pumped up. Again, was thinking, let's get the police out here and go catch this guy.
The Haywood County Sheriff's Office in North Carolina confirming to NBC News that Davis met with the FBI at their office and saying the Sheriff's Office has received and responded to numerous reports throughout Haywood County over the course of the last week. We will continue to pursue leads surrounding this case as they come in. Laundrie is a person of interest in the Gabby Petito investigation. There's also a federal warrant out for his arrest in a fraud-related case. Gabby's family speaking with Dr. Phil today about the hunt for their daughter's missing fiancé.
I just hope he's found. I really do. Like,
He'll be found.
No, I mean, like, alive.
I want to look him in the eyes.
The more he runs, the more he hides, the less he could try to say it was a mistake or he had nothing to do with it.
I want to see him in a jail cell for the rest of his life, where he's an outdoorsman. Being in that concrete cell and he can't go see those trees and hug those, you know, and smell the fresh air like that.
As an outdoorsman, that would be in a cement box.
NBC News reached out to the Laundrie family.
Nice justice right there.
Attorney for a response to the interview, he said the Laundries had no comment. Her parents looking to keep their daughter's memory alive.
She was just an amazing soul, you know, and she's beautiful inside and out, and she touched so many people. Anybody that met her, you know, just her smile was infectious. We're gonna work hard to
keep her spirit alive.
Keeping her spirit going and be positive and just help people, because that's what she would do.
And Dasha Burns joins us now live in studio. Dasha, I know you have some new and important details about the timeline of the road trip between Laundrie and Petito.
Yeah, Tom, you may remember that dramatic body cam video from Moab police in Utah after officers pulled over Gabby and Brian in their van. Well, the Laundrie family attorney is now confirming some reports that Brian actually flew back home to Florida just days after that encounter. He said the reason he flew home was to obtain some items and to close a storage unit to save money as the couple contemplated extending their road trip. He then flew back to meet Gabby again in Utah on August 23rd. And we know, Tom, that the last text message that Gabby's mom received from her phone was on August 27th.
All right, Dasha Burns for us tonight. Dasha, we thank you for that.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel.
What's it called? No banners there.
A possible sighting of a banner plane, and they didn't know whether or not it was real or if it was fake. It was just something that they to speak out and support the Justice for Gabby cause. And Justin, in one of his TikTok videos, talked about a possible sighting of a banner plane, and they didn't know whether or not it was real or if it was fake. It was just something that they saw online that looked like it could have been a banner.
Like the street.
As we stay on top of this case for just a second longer, I do want to bring you this new video that we have gotten to our Live Now from Fox desk. This is courtesy of apparently a TikToker. So this is footage of a plane flying over the home of Brian Laundrie's parents in Northport, where you just saw Phil Keating outside in front of displaying a banner that reads "Justice for Gabby, TikTok Time's Up." A video uploaded by Jonathan Riches shows the plane flying over Northport with the banner as protesters shout "Justice for Gabby" and say her name, Gabby Petito. Let's listen and see if we could hear their voices.
I hope you see it, and I hope your son sees it.
So you did hear some shouting right there. Again, it was something that Phil just mentioned on Live Now from Fox, the fact that protesters have been outside of the Laundrie family home, as well as that of his sisters in a different location. That's actually why she came out and confronted them. So again, according to reports, the banner plane was organized by a TikTok user who collected donations from followers to cover the cost, because I can tell you that that is probably not cheap, everybody. The FBI is continuing to investigate the death of Gabby Petito as a homicide. Petito's fiance, Brian Laundrie, has not been seen since September 13th. Today, officially marking 3 weeks from that date. Again, Petito's body.
Thank you.
We want to know what the hell.
No,
We have fully cooperated with the police since September 11th when they called. I did not say that I saw my brother. I said I haven't been able to speak to him in reference to the time when I was called by the police. Since that point, I haven't been able to speak to my brother. I have been honest and cooperative. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. The thing about it is we know Gabby's family. Gabby is...
We do too.
What do you want us to do?
We cooperate with the police. We're not supposed to talk to anybody, and you're making my children cry.
Was Brian with you on September 1st? Did he come to this house?
Yes, he came to this house with my parents in their Mustang, not the van. I did not know that he took that van back. I found out the next day with everybody else. We are just as upset, frustrated, and heartbroken as everybody else. And I am losing my parents and my brother and my children's aunt and my future sister-in-law on top of this, and you're not helping.
Why your parents? Why your parents? You're talking about
Because
Chris.
they're not talking to us either.
Why aren't they talking to you guys?
If I knew, I would say. I don't know.
Do you think they're involved, your parents?
I don't know.
You don't know?
We know.
You're not involved?
We have literally been finding everything out with the news with like everybody else. My kids are upset. You're upsetting my neighbors, and all we want to do is let you guys know that we don't know.
What happened? What did you guys do on the 6th through the 8th at Fort DeSoto?
We were at Fort DeSoto on the 6th. We got there at around 2 o'clock, and we left around 8 because the kids had school the next day.
On the 6th?
On the 6th. We only stayed for about 6 hours.
Who was there?
My mom, my dad, my brother.
Would you guys be willing to go on record to say that you would like your brother Brian Laundrie to turn himself over to the authorities?
What was going on at Fort DeSoto campground? What were you guys doing there? Like, were there was a campfire?
We had s'mores, we had dinner.
What did Brian say anything about Gabby?
We had our kids there. Nothing came up.
He didn't say anything about Gabby.
No, we've told the FBI everything.
Did Brian go?
The world does not need to know what the FBI knows.
Did Brian go?
The world does not need to know what the FBI knows, guys.
The world does not need to know what the FBI knows. And that's why we're silent.
They've asked us to not say anything, really.
This is me coming out against them.
They're suffering. Big
We're
time.
suffering.
Well,
they're suffering.
To be fair,
I
they lost a
understand
life.
your view.
Hey guys, I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Please leave a like and sub. Help me grow my page.
I mean, to be fair, they lost a life. So
I know.
I really feel bad for you, but again, I don't feel bad for you.
I know. That's fine. You feel how you feel. We how we feel. My kids are upset. You're upsetting my children, who are very upset that they had to find out that their aunt died from you people screaming it at them from the house.
It's sad.
So
But this whole situation is that.
that's not.
Where
fair.
was that at?
On Saturday when you were here.
Your aunt died.
No, their aunt.
Their aunt died.
Yes.
The future aunt.
They considered her aunt Aunt Gabby forever. So
To be honest with you, we can't even hear you inside.
We can't.
I mean,
figure that out.
so where else have you seen Brian since
that's
September
it.
1st?
I have not seen anybody after 8 o'clock on September 6th. I have not spoken to my parents.
How long did they stay there? Do you know? Like at
I
the
don't
Fort DeSoto campground? Did Brian go off on his own into the woods or anything?
We don't know.
told, we know as much as you. Did you? So when he came here September 1st, right? You said he came. What did he come here for?
My parents wanted to surprise the kids to pick them up at school. I did not know that Brian was with them when we had previously planned to hang out with them. This is not what we want to be doing. This is not how we want the world to find out when we're angry and upset. But I can't have my kids be crying for 3 days in a row.
What did the FBI take out of the house here? Like what?
Nothing.
They came here though.
Yes.
During. We met with them multiple times. You met with them multiple times.
Yeah.
Did they ask you for like polygraphs or anything like that?
No, but
No.
we don't know.
We're not involved in this at all.
He's my brother, and that's it.
The parents, we've been outside the parents' home for 2 weeks straight.
I know. I've been
There's
watching.
parents' home for 2 weeks straight.
I know. I've been
There's
watching.
there's people out there. They feel your family's involved. A cloud of suspicion. The reason why we're here for you.
Guys, check out that poll I just asked.
you is because the media
ended up misconstruing what I said when they asked me if I had seen my brother. Like I said in the beginning, they didn't say, have you seen Brian? It was, what's the weirdest thing about this all? It was, I haven't been able to speak to my brother. I tried to contact them after this. I tried to contact my family after this. I hadn't been able to speak to my brother.
Do you know about any additional burner phones?
I have no idea.
So you don't know nothing.
No,
Like,
he's
after.
my brother that I don't talk to that much.
And the parents ain't talking to you. Your own parents are not talking to you for what reason? They just.
The lawyer said not to.
Whose lawyer?
Their parents' lawyer.
Their
We don't
lawyers.
have a lawyer. We have nothing to hide. We were told not.
All looks really weird and fishy, yeah. December 1st, Brian returns. In the morning, like 10:30 in the morning. Cell phone is also turned off. Gabby's cell phone also turned off. And the laundry attorney claimed Brian saw Cassie at her. Apparently with the parents.
Not to talk to anybody, and I'm upset that we have to come out and do this and then explain myself to the FBI.
So when Gabby was missing, the parents weren't even looking for her. They weren't even out looking for her.
We don't even know what they knew.
On 4th, Brian purchased a new phone. Went camping that weekend.
Do you know that she was missing when they went to Fort DeSoto?
No.
You didn't had
September
no clue
11th,
that she was missing.
The detective that was working with Gabby's mom called me up while we were on vacation.
We were in Orlando.
And then I called her back because we were eating dinner, and I told her everything she needs to know. We told them from day one that we were at Fort DeSoto with them on the 6th and that they came over here on the 1st. The police has known everything that's out there the whole time, from September 11th night on. That's when I became involved, and I knew nothing before that.
Any other questions?
So that's out there the whole time. They came over here on the 1st. The police has known everything that's out there the whole time, from September 11th night on. That's when I became involved, and I knew nothing before that.
Any other questions?
So what were your thoughts after you found out she was missing and your brother was here by himself and in her van and ran up $1,000 on her credit
These are
card?
things we're not allowed to answer.
Have you ever seen Brian hit Gabby?
No.
Have you ever seen him fight?
No.
Have you ever seen him hit any woman that you've
No,
seen?
I've never seen him be
Domestic
abusive
violence
or
running your
angry
family?
in anything. No.
You know
No.
that we talked to neighbors. We canvassed your parents' neighborhood.
Yeah.
They've heard screams coming out of your parents' house on multiple occasions.
Your parents' house.
Okay,
Screams.
I don't know what to tell you about
Might have
that.
been our kids. We lived there for a year.
Oh, you lived at the home in Wabasso?
Yeah,
Gabby and Brian lived with us.
When they were in New York.
And you've never seen them fight? No argue? No.
Of course, you know, we bicker,
But nothing-
everybody bickers, but nothing like what no
Nothing that would
domestic
constitute
anything.
domestic violence.
No,
No.
yes, or else we would have done something about it.
Right.
Like, I don't stand for that. I was in a bad relationship similar to that what's saying has happened. I wouldn't let that happen. We're
Not evil monsters were made out to be.
A lot of people just want answers. There's a cloud of suspicion.
They want
Nobody came to your house, I'm sure, to after it came out in the media, they said, oh, you lied. They said that you misled
I've
the...
been accused of lying.
saying
But
that you
it's
didn't
not
see him.
right. I didn't say that I didn't see him. I said I didn't speak to him after that question. Was like, what was the weirdest thing that I haven't been able to talk to my brother? As in, from the 11th forward, I have not been able to talk to my brother.
around.
Yes.
You read the transcript, it's right
The
there.
transcripts are out there of everything that was said, and then I was misquoted on inside the article, but that's not what I said.
Wow, guys, I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Please leave a like and a sub. Please go to my page.
I'm sincere.
I think you guys need to make like a public statement telling Brian to turn himself in. I think that would ease a lot of people's...
We don't even know if
you
he's
know.
on the run or if he's...
Do you think he's dead?
I have no idea.
Where does he camp around here? Like, where else besides Fort DeSoto?
We've told
I'm sure she's giving
the FBI everything.
When you guys were children, you're obviously your whole family's outdoorsy. So when you guys were children, you know, like every summer I went to a place. Where was your summer vacations at normally?
We didn't have that. We grew up on a great street where our summer vacation was hanging out with our friends. So
I mean, we have to. We are here for the Petito family. They are suffering bravely, things that you will never even feel.
Hope not.
And it's just right now, you know, having your family destroyed, and then the people that you trusted your family member with is ignoring you and hanging up the telephone on you.
I understand. I'm in the boat where I'm getting ignored by my family and thrown under the bus by my family's attorney.
Why would he do that? Like, why?
Protect his client because she's not their client.
So I'm just as mad.
Did they have a storage shed, Gabby, and
They have a storage locker.
Brian? Do you know where it was?
I have no idea.
Do you know what date your brother flew back, that your dad paid for the plane?
Didn't even know he paid for the plane.
Did he fly back?
Yes,
From
he flew back.
like around like what, the 17th or something?
Put it into their house.
Around like the 17th or something,
Yeah,
after the fight.
He got here on the 17th. I don't know what day he left.
Did you see him on that trip?
Yes.
What was discussed? Anything? Was he discussed about?
They were talking. He was telling me where they were going next. I FaceTimed with Gabby and the kids on that trip. I mean,
Did he say he got in a fight with Gabby? He didn't talk about that incident?
Just was a surprise to us.
Yeah. We're unfortunately in the dark as much as everybody else. And more
What was your brother like when he was in middle school and a teenager? What was he
I
like?
didn't live in the house at the time.
Has he ever been violent with you?
No.
Never
Violent with
fight
anybody?
Brother. I mean, me and my sister went at it. She pulled my hair, kicked me in my eye.
We're 8 or 9 years apart. We're not.
Yeah, you're older.
He's not like my. We were little together, brother. I mean, I was.
But you guys lived in the house at Wabasso. Everybody lived there.
No, my parents lived in New York.
Oh, they lived in New York. You lived in the house.
We were remodeling the house.
And then Brian and Gabby came there.
When they moved down to Florida, they moved in with us to get on their feet.
How did they meet?
Jobs.
High school.
That's,
Well,
I
I
feel like I'm answering too many things.
Yeah, I understand, and I appreciate and respect. Out of respect, we're gonna leave. We're gonna leave out of respect. We're gonna leave.
We appreciate you.
I don't think we're gonna be back.
Because to be
And
honest
I'm
with you,
sorry.
This is what we wanted right here.
No,
This
I
is
know.
what we wanted, and this.
We were told not to come out, but I can't have my kids crying.
Well, the fact that you came out, we're not coming back.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
I mean, unless you're lying or there's something new, we're not coming back. God bless you guys.
No, us too.
We just want justice for her.
We're upset. We're sad.
And you see, we're rational people. We just want answers. We want just closure for Gabby.
I would, if I were you, change your strategy because you know,
where our summer vacation was hanging out with our friends. So
It's a tough situation, and I'm hearing you, and I appreciate you guys coming out and talking. We do respect that, and that's why.
Save our neighbors.
Yeah.
And this, again, if no one, I don't think anyone would have ever came to your house until the media came out and said, "Well,
the media said that, and my parents' lawyer really screwed me over by saying that he just.
Well, I
stopped
saw
by.
the comment that
he
he
did
made.
not just stop by on the way home, and I was livid, and I'm not speaking to any.
Got live. Oh, that's Joseph Petito. Oh wow. Hold on here, guys. Um. There.
Answers right away, especially with the way current events are, as of they are this evening. So Well, again, we're a group of four. It's not just me. And a lot of parents don't have that, So the fact that we are four, we get to bounce things off each other and lean on each other. Especially if someone's having a bad day and you can notice that. We're like, you know what? Why don't we take a step back and we'll reevaluate and make sure things are okay. So we're trying to stay focused on things for the foundation. How can we honor Gabby? Making sure it's not meaningless to us. And making sure that we can make a difference and make that change that we need to have happen. I know it's for a selfish reason, but the outcome is still the same, that we want to help and save people. And we think we can actually make a big difference. There's already starting to be a lot of talk, a lot of people that are finding out ways to make plans to make sure that they leave their significant others in a safe manner, and that's huge for us. We just want to do more for that. We're seeing people tag Gabby Petito, and their cases are start coming more to the top and being investigated, and as they should be. And every person should have the type of coverage, or at least close to it. And we're starting to see that more and more, which is exciting. But we got a lot of work to do. Us, the networks. If there's a network that's not dedicating a few moments to this or longer, as it should be, and that's we should be writing, as social media, telling them this is what we want to do. This is what we want to see. We want to make sure these kids come home, and we want them home quick. So things like that, making that change is going to be huge.
And for you, there's still you're in the middle of the process of even trying to memorialize Gabby and have a funeral. You had your memorial, but do you know if you're getting close to being able to bring her home and actually have that final funeral for Gabby?
We hope so. We got some, got some more things that they're working out. I have no idea. But they do tell us it will be soon, sooner than later, which is exciting. And we just want to get together and escort her home properly. And this way we can do what we need to do as the four of us and really process it together and really lean on each other, because that's what's going to need to happen.
When we come back after the break, John Walsh, I want you to weigh in on that process of where you fall in the priority of police information during an investigation, during an active investigation, an open investigation that can sometimes go on for days and weeks and months and even years. John Walsh, Aaron Runyon, Beth Holloway, and Joe Petito after the break.
I earned 3% cash back at drugstores with Chase Freedom Unlimited. So I got cards for birthdays, holidays, graduations. I'm covered for everything. Which reminds me, thank you for driving me to the drugstore.
Earn big time with Chase Freedom Unlimited with no annual fee. How do you cash back? Chase, make more of what's yours.
Big news for heartburn sufferers.
This is like legit,
Introducing
bro.
Zantac 360 Degrees with a new formula that has the #1 doctor-recommended.
Okay. You don't binge. Yeah, the gym.
Body was found in Wyoming's Bridger Teton National Forest on September 21st. We also saw tweets over the last couple of days from Gabby's parents and family. A lot of people wanting justice for the late 22-year-old. And they're also calling on Brian Laundrie to turn himself in. We do know that rewards to find Laundrie have increased over the last several days. I believe it's up to $180,000 now. The total reward leading for information to the capture and arrest of Laundrie. So wanted to bring you this video here on Live Now from Fox.
That's wild. There was a 50-50 split on the poll, guys. Keep it up.
We have some new developments tonight in the search for Brian
I like
Laundrie.
hearing your guys.
Stacey and Keith, Chris Laundrie was at the search site.
Brian, as we pulled up the actual civic code for abandoned vehicles, and it's a bit dry, but bear with me, Brian. I want to read it, and I want to show it to our viewers because there's something that really kind of stands out. The Florida legislature has prescribed procedures which may be followed by municipalities for the proper removal and disposal of abandoned and unlawfully parked vehicles. Later in the code, though, I found this little clause that sounded awfully curious with regard to Brian's car. Any vehicle which is left upon public property for a period of, wait for it, 5 days or longer shall be presumed to be abandoned. The rightful owner of such vehicle may rebut this presumption of abandonment. So that's what stood out to me, Brian Enton. 5 days or longer, that car would have had to be parked there in order to be deemed abandoned. If that's in fact what played out, it's hard to tell because, again, let me remind our viewers, with this case, this is usually what we get. It's hard to see the details. But Brian, this has to call into question this entire story that the Laundrie family in that house behind you has told about when they said Brian went on a hike and didn't come back, and then when they revised it to say it was 1 day longer.
Well, you've got...
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Leave a like and sub, help me grow my page.
Got it in front of you. I've got it printed out in the truck, but you look at it since you've got the date in front of you. I believe it's September 14th. Is that correct? Around 2:42 in the afternoon. Yeah. Is that what it says at the top?
If we can,
I'm pretty sure we should back. Yeah.
I want to say put up that timeline for. Oh, for that. Okay, so for the police report, yes. Let me just check it real quickly. It says yes.
Yeah,
it
look
says
at the top of it.
2:42 p.m. and it's on September 14th. So that would be the Tuesday.
Right. So it is interesting with the timeline. How long was the Mustang actually there? And what you just read, the law says that it would have had to be there 5 days before they could, you know, issue this notice. Well, according to the timeline that we've got, which is constantly changing and almost impossible to keep track of because the family keeps changing the story, according to that timeline, it would appear that the Mustang wasn't there for 5 days.
So, you know, I'm going to ask the control room to put the timeline back up because it's so curious as you fill in the missing blanks there. It's very interesting to see that the new timeline that the Laundries have now, you know, given us starts on September 13th. It's the new date. It's no longer September 14th that they said he just went off on a hike. They now say it's September 13th that he went off on a hike and didn't come home. And then you'll see September 14th, they say nothing. And on September 15th, they say nothing. And on September 16th, they say nothing. And on September 17th, they finally report Brian missing. And I believe it was you in the evening hours, maybe at 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern, you broke the news. So it took all day Friday. That's a full 5 days that they said nothing. But there's also 5 days that the car would have had to be there, and yet it was picked up on Wednesday. So am I to think now that September 13th is bogus, that car was over at that reserve at least maybe 2 days earlier, maybe 3?
Well, and let me tell you something else interesting, Ashley. So originally, and again, it's changed so many times, but originally,
losing your child in a sudden death is incredibly difficult to handle. And for it to be a violent death is a whole nother layer. And then you add the international interest and the media and all of the questions coming at you from every possible source. It's overwhelming. And I mean, I remember very vividly thinking it's like I was walking underwater. Like the sounds were muffled, the visual, everything was gray. You know, it takes a long time to process this, and yes, you get better at it. You definitely do. You learn how to anticipate triggers, and you will learn. I really tried hard. I had to really focus for my young children at home to be able to think about my child in a way that reminded me of her joy and not just how she was taken and not just that she was gone. but to be able to remember them in a way that brings you back to the present and the gift that they will always be in your life, that it never goes away. And they are with us in their own way.
John Walsh, I was just looking at the math, and it was just in July, it was 40 years since Adam disappeared. Can you reflect on what Aaron just said about the change and how you as a person change, how the people around you change, and what strength you gathered to get to these 40 years?
You're changed irreparably. Both these ladies have been through it. I mean, I know them very well. I know their cases. Natalie Holloway is a case that haunted me for years. I mean, here's Beth. She didn't get a body to bury. She did, and nobody, the jerk that murdered her daughter is in jail in Chile for another murder of another young woman. He escaped from Aruba. The cops let him leave Aruba. The FBI messed up so bad, and he left and went to another country. So I know these two women very well, but I want to say this, a couple things to Joe, and I want to say to Gabby's mother and her new husband and Joe and his new wife. You know, you got to check everybody in the family. There's always a grandma and a grandpa, an uncle, an older sibling, a younger sibling that's hurting just as bad, almost as bad as you are. But nobody wants to make daddy or mommy cry. I've talked to thousands of parents of murdered children, and they always say the same thing. I overlooked the other kids. I overlooked the big brother. I didn't get help for them. No one wants to stir it up for mom or dad, so you have to reach out into the family. And Aaron was right. You have to celebrate those years that you had, Gabby, and they celebrate the years they had those two girls. I was lucky to have Adam for 6 years. He made my whole life. He was our first child, and we've had other children since, and I'm a great, proud grandpa. But you're changed irreparably, and I say to them, you celebrate her life. Celebrate. Don't think about the one day that a horrible weasel coward who's out there running around and hiding that did something terrible in your life. You know, people gave us bad advice. Take down his toys. Take down his pictures. You'll forget. Da-da-da-da. Time heals all. You're hurt irreparably. You've got a chunk of your heart taken out, and birthdays and Christmases makes it bleed, but you survived through. I was on the path for justice, and I hope Joe and his whole family doesn't have to wait for this creep to be caught and tried. It took me 27 years to get a hold of the files in Adam's case. Talk about waiting for justice. I know all about waiting for justice. That's why I say we got to keep the pressure on this creep and get him before he hurts somebody else. But I say to these families, celebrate the lives of those children, celebrate their birthdays, the holidays. They were a wonderful part of your life. Don't dwell on the bad day. And worry about all the other relatives that love them so much. But I will say this, it's not about closure, Joe. You're on the same path I am, and men treat it differently than women do. We got all that testosterone, and we want to go out and find the bastard who did it. We want to kill him, all those things that go through your head. And it can't happen. I met a father who felt the same way I did, and he had a gun, and the cops came and brought him. He came to hear me speak, and I thought about it, and I don't know how I spurred it out, but I said, if you could have your son back for 1 minute, because you're here trying to kill the two guys at this trial with a gun, you're drunk, you're going to shoot him in the courtroom. If your son could come back for 1 minute, he would say, Dad, don't do this. Don't do this. You can't kill somebody else and make it better for me. Celebrate my life and make sure that you remember me for what I was. So, Joe, you're going to be on a long journey. I hope it isn't as painful as Beth Holloway's. She hasn't gotten any, forget closure, she hasn't gotten any justice yet. Aaron got some justice, and again, her case was a repeat offender that I've been talking about forever, a guy whose charges were dropped for molesting other little girls. I can only think her daughter might be alive if the criminal justice system worked better for the bad guys that prey upon children, but it's a long haul. But you know what? You have a lot of people supporting you. This case has grabbed the American public, and we have to keep it alive as much as since Elizabeth Smart. I mean, it's really strange because I deal with and profile all kinds of missing women, and nobody profiles Black and Hispanic missing women. It's always the blonde girls and the blonde Adam Walsh, Elizabeth Smart. That's a huge problem. I've always been colorblind, and America's Most Wanted on my new show. Nobody cares about those missing women. They don't get the publicity. But Joe, you got a good network around you and you got support. Celebrate her birthday and stay on that hunt, because I'll tell you what, after 27 years, it made a lot of difference to my wife and I, Reve and I, and our grown children. That ended the chapter. We knew the guy that killed Adam and 6 other people. He finally paid his price. So you got to stay strong, but be good to each other. Be really good to each other.
Yeah. When we come back after the break, there is that other question in the legal justice system, and that is, does the death penalty help bring a sense of justice? And again, that word keeps creeping in. Closure.
That's a great question
What
from the chat
exactly
right
would
here.
it mean? Does it mean? Has it meant? We're back right after this.
Before you go there,
Guys, I want to hear.
or
Alright, guys, I want to hear what you guys have to say about the full question. And a good number of you guys actually think he's in the Appalachian Trail.
The attorney was telling us that the Mustang was picked up on Tuesday, the silver Mustang right here. What was so strange about Luis, my cameraman, and what we were thinking about this? We've been out at the house every day at that time and now, getting video every single day of the driveway. So we went back and looked through our video, and they initially said they picked up the Mustang on Tuesday, but our video didn't show that. There was no Mustang in the driveway that Tuesday. It wasn't until Wednesday that the Mustang appeared. So that initial storyline really didn't even make sense based on what we were seeing with our own eyes outside of the Laundrie home.
So pop up that timeline again, if I can ask our control room, because, you know, Tuesday was the day they said he went off on his hike. You wouldn't go and take his car on the day he's gone into the reserve. So let's just imagine for a moment it was the next day. It was the Wednesday, September 15th. Well, even then, Brian, if they're bringing that Mustang home on September 15th, again, the ordinance says it's not an abandoned car.
Yeah, this timeline does not make sense at all. The due date. They took a good minute to report Brian missing.
It's been there 5 days. Well, go back 3 days, and that's the day he apparently goes hiking. So go back 2 more days, and Yahtzee. What day do you land on? September 11th, the day that she is announced and reported as missing.
Hey guys, I appreciate every single one of you watching. Please leave a like and sub to help grow the page.
So it seems there are 2 things. Number one, they're still not getting the story straight, and there's something we don't know, and the timeline's going to change again, or there's something nefarious going on. Or number 2, did the police make a mistake issuing this notice, not realizing that they had to wait a full 5 days?
And you know what? You're a great reporter, and you've got this to work with. I'm holding it up right now. If there's a mistake in it, you and I cannot tell, because that giant black line, there's no getting through it. Okay, I'm going to switch gears for a minute if I can, Brian. First of all, let me ask you if there's been any action. Have you seen them at all today? Has there been anything happening at the house?
No action at the house. The only thing was this morning they got a box delivered, and Christopher Laundrie, the dad, came right to the screened-in door, received the box. We could barely even get a shot because it was so shady. He didn't come past the screen and went back in. That has literally been it for the entire day here.
Well, I wonder if located in that box was an invitation, a giant, giant invitation, because the word has also broken today, Brian, that Christopher Laundrie, Brian's dad, has been invited, okay, to help search for his son in the Carlton Preserve. So I just, couldn't quite figure that out, because to my knowledge, he is not an expert, outdoorsman or search and rescue operator.
All right, guys, you definitely want that number. I'm pretty sure it should work. So, yeah, that's the number.
What on earth could Christopher Laundrie possibly do to help all of the bloodhounds, all of the mud trackers, all of the heat seeking, all of the professional searchers, and what they've been doing for the last 3 weeks?
Well, I think the thought is that Christopher Laundrie has been out at this reserve before with his son, and perhaps he might know the areas and be able to show the FBI and the police officers the areas where Brian may have frequented. I think that's the thought sort of going on behind the scenes. But yeah, it was interesting. This all came down within the last couple of hours. Again, sort of a bombshell from Bertolino, the attorney. He sends out the text message.
Waiting for a call from anybody, guys. Let me hear your opinion on just the whole situation.
And it says that police have asked Christopher Laundrie, Brian's dad, to assist them in the search over at the reserve. Apparently, this was supposed to happen today. For whatever reason, it did not happen.
Possibly bounce things off of, you know, when I am seeing something or if I have a question. Because this is, it's just like nothing I've ever heard. You know, nothing I've ever seen, nothing I've ever felt. And there's only a few people that can share it, and it's the people that are on the screen, and I'll forever be indebted to them.
I have a strong feeling that as soon as we sign off, those phone numbers will be in your inbox, and I feel like I already have consent from the 3 guests on the screen. You all have been so magnanimous. Not just to Joe Petito, but to others as well. I've been in this business 33 years. I've interviewed all 3 of you several times, and you always manage to just, in the face of adversity, display such remarkable grace and composure. And so I'm also very thankful that you agreed to do this for Joe Petito and his family. I want to put a question on the screen if I can. It came from a social media follower, Mike K on Facebook, and I think, Beth, I think you'd be really good on this one. He asks, what have you learned about the world that the rest of us don't know, Beth?
What have you learned about the world that the rest of us don't know? How? I mean, if we're talking like in reference of tragedies and injustice and just maddening things that can happen and without our control and just, you know, it's like we said, like even John said when we started out, I mean, no parent can picture themselves being in Joe's shoes, John's shoes, Aaron's shoes, or my shoes. And it's something that, and even that we're all in these similar tragedies, I can't even imagine to being in Joe's shoes. You know, he's still looking for his daughter's killer, his perpetrator. And so, you know, we all have similar tragedies, but we all have different outcomes and we're in different levels of it. And it's maddening that you can't get to those answers. You just feel like, and I'm sure Joe, you get into that mode to where you feel like you're about to get the answer. You're about to get it. Seems like it's always around the corner. And then you just keep turning and turning and it's not there. But you just don't want to lose hope. And I've always just tried to really embrace hope with every anonymous tip or lead to feel like it's getting us closer and closer to answers and the justice that we are seeking. So it's a tough journey. And like John Walsh said, it could be at 27 years, you know, 5 years, 2 years. But here's one thing I've learned. In just the 4 of us in our tragedy, whatever we've experienced, I do now know that we all hurt the same in the tragedy that we're experiencing. No matter how long the tragedy has lasted, we all hurt the same because that is the reference we have of pain in that particular moment of tragedy that we're experiencing. So that is the commonality that we all share as victims who have their loved ones victims of crimes and such heinous crimes.
Joe, I saw you nodding. It looked as though you really thought that resonated, Joe. Tell me.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotions that are going through you, you know, and like this is such a rush and not taking the time and all this other stuff, but it's a roller coaster, you know, and yeah, I don't know how I'm going to be tomorrow and all this other stuff, but it's it's good to know that, like I said, I'm on the right path, and if I can stay focused with the foundation and stuff, I think good things will come. If I stay out of that rage and anger and stuff, you guys have gone through these range of emotions. You're still going through these range of emotions. I'm sure it's still, but at least there are people out there that understand that I can bounce questions off of, because I'll tell you, sometimes you just try and make sense of it, and there's nothing you can say. There's nothing that you can make sense in your head about it. So I appreciate it.
When we come back after the break, there are four
Ashley.
foundations that these four... Oh, go ahead. Just quickly, John. We're just going to fit in a quick break. Go ahead, John.
I was going to say two things. I found out that most of the people on the planet are good, but there's some really evil, horrible people. America, the richest, most powerful country in the world, we're #1 in sex trafficking of children and women. So there's a lot of really bad people out there. And I know Joe is busting to ask me. You can ask the cops. I love cops, but they need to talk to you and tell you what's going on. There are two women here whose cases were so-so. Beth Holloway's case was almost as badly handled as Adams. If I could roll the clock back, I'd be right there saying, you got to tell me. I've passed laws that the cops have to, and the DAs, they have to talk to you. You need to know. You're not going to tell anybody else. You're not going to say it to the media and blow the case. And if they made mistakes, you have the right to ask them. How did they let this guy get out the front door? The #1 suspect, FBI and these local cops. The guy went on the run way early before they ever knew he was in the house.
Hey guys, I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. You don't have to call if you don't want to, but feel free to call. I'd love to hear your opinion. Leave a like and sub. Help me grow my page.
Dignity. And I can't wait to meet you, Joe, because I've walked in those shoes. I've walked in your shoes. There's a lot
We're going to make that happen.
Yep.
Without question, we're going to make that happen. When we come back after the break, also, I want to highlight the 4 remarkable foundations that these 4 remarkable people have launched and are launching, and how you can be a part. Back after this.
Here are Gary's favorite records. Here's Gary in the Zone.
We've got a caller. Okay.
Call from Christine. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hello?
Hi, is this Alex
Yeah.
Joseph?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Okay.
So what do you think of everything that's going on?
Well, oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. Well, I couldn't take it anymore. Nobody was calling in, and I was afraid to call in because, I don't know, I think my voice sounds weird on the phone, but,
That's okay.
but I just recently found your channel, and, I hope you cover more, missing persons, because I think you do a really good job at, covering them, and you could really help
Aaron
a lot of
Runyon,
families
Beth Holloway,
and,
John
victims of families, and, but I don't know. I think my gut feeling feels like from everything I've seen that Brian Laundrie is probably somewhere around the Appalachian trails, but I don't really know.
I mean, it's a good guess. Someone did say they did see him, so I mean that's like the latest news we have on him. So it's a good following, a good lead, I guess.
Yeah. I think the other day I saw one. I forgot his channel. There's this other guy. Oh gosh, what's his name?
What?
Joseph Morris.
Yeah, I know who you're
He has
talking
a
about.
channel. Yeah, and he had a really good. He played a video clip of somebody that was walking up to this truck and this man and a woman talking, and the guy looked like a lot like Brian Laundrie, and he even had his little duck feet. because he like walks like with a little. He has a little duck walk. And anyway, to me, that was the closest one that looked like him.
I mean,
what do you think? What do you think?
he could be on the Appalachian trails, just like I think the mom said something like that too. Like he could be out there hiking where they already went. So, I mean, somewhere along the Appalachian trails makes sense. I don't think he could survive this long inside the Carlton reserves, especially with all those alligators we just saw in the news thing.
Right, right. I sorry, I have something in my throat. Yeah, I just I'm sorry. I get
No,
all
you're
anxious.
okay.
I have all these thoughts that I was gonna ask, and then they just completely
No,
go away when I
take your
'cause I get
time.
anxious.
Take your time. What do you think? Okay, so like back to Brian and the police stop. Do you think if the police there could have done anything to have prevented this, like maybe arresting Gabby or?
Well, I it's sad to say, but I had my own dad and one of my brothers, my one brother that's alive. They are a lot like him. I mean, I don't know him for sure. Only God knows him. But from what I saw, it reminded me a lot of them. They're like sociopaths. And those are the most scary type because they're like chameleons. They know exactly, they can like read the room, they can read the person, the people, and then they base their actions and emotions with those people that are in the room. And they're so scary. My dad and one of my brothers were just like that. And they use they get to know you really well, like, you know, when you're vulnerable and you tell them about your feelings but then they use that against you to like hurt you. And that's what it seems like this guy is about. And so I think the police, you know, I don't think they're not educated like in psychology and stuff like that to, you know, what to look for in somebody that is a sociopath. But what I think should have happened, they both had marks on them, but I think in any type of domestic violence case, they should take both people in to see and right away in to see a psychologist, a social worker, and then let them dictate what should happen, you know, going forward after that. You know, I think, you know, I wish, you know, instead of, you know, with the police system, I think it needs to be fixed. I think instead of locking people away and like throwing them away, I think they need to be healed. I think they need help, because if they really love themselves, they wouldn't treat another living thing like that. And I mean, some of them might be too far gone, but at least instead of jails, I think they should have like mental institutions or like, you know, where they have to go, you know, instead of just locking them away. And then like the question about the death penalty, I think that I completely disagree with it, because in my mind, like in the Bible it says thou shalt not kill, and it doesn't have like a fine print, you know, you can kill if somebody else kills, or like, you know, to me in my mind it's like you're no better than the murderer if you murder that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. That's understandable.
But, you know, I respect everybody's opinions, because, you know, I'm not, you know, nobody's really right, because we don't know, I guess, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, everyone's gonna have a different opinion about the situation. Thank you for sharing yours.
Right.
Definitely
Well,
a
thank
great
you,
interview.
and I'm sorry. I'm sure I talked too long.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Sorry. But yeah, and God bless you and your channel. And I think you know, I hope you do more missing persons, because I think you could really help a lot of people, because you seem to be really good at covering, you know, covering them. And I think that would really help a lot of people. And So I have a lot of respect for you and your channel, and good luck to
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you.
And God bless you, and thank you for listening to me.
God bless.
I love the call-in because it reminds me of that TV show called Frasier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know that.
You know, where he had that little radio channel,
Yeah.
you know, and he said, I'm listening, or, you know.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times people they just want to be heard. And I think that would help a lot of people with their emotions or anxieties or their anger problems. I think a lot of people, if they just got out what their thoughts are, and, you know, that's why I don't like when people censor people, you know, because I think God gave us our, you know, wisdom we can decipher through, you know, what we want to believe in, or what looks like just a lot of crap, or what is, you know, more factual. I mean, but I think nobody should be, you know, shut up, you know, like, censored or anything. But that's just my opinion again.
Everyone has a right to their own opinion, you know?
Right. And anyway, sorry, I've been going on forever.
No, it's okay. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Hey, guys. Anyone else would like to call? I'll put the number back up in the chat and just.
Laundrie today. See this video here? That is his father, Chris, in the passenger seat there, joining the search. He was seen going into the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park today, where authorities continue to look for his son. Let's go to Fox 13's Kimberly Quizon, who joins us again live from the park. Hi there, Kim. So why did he join the search today?
Hi, Mark. Well, we're told that he joined the search with investigators, trying to point them out to areas where Brian was known to frequent and where he was known to hang out within the reserve. This morning, just before 10 o'clock, Brian Laundrie's father, Chris, left his Northport home carrying a plastic bag.
Call from. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hello?
Hi, is this Alex?
Hey, yeah. Alex, what's up?
This is Audrey.
Hey. Thanks for calling.
Am I actually on the line, or am I just talking to you offline?
You're on the line, but you're also on the stream, I believe, as well. Everyone should be able to hear you.
I mean, does people hear me?
Yeah, just like the last person who called.
Oh my God. Hi, from Arkansas.
Oh, Arkansas, wow.
Go Dogs!
So what's your opinion on the
my
whole
God.
situation?
Okay, well, I have so many opinions. Please don't hate on me.
No, it's okay. You're entitled to your own opinion.
No, like, I've been watching very closely, and one of the things I saw today caught my interest the most, and it was the fact that Gabby's van, in the Moab, you know, incident, they recorded when they came around the driver's side and Brian was sitting there, there are car cover seats. And what are you laughing at me?
No,
like
no.
I'm not listening.
I'm listening
to
to you.
the audio, but you look like you're laughing at me.
No, I'm listening to you.
Okay.
What you have to say.
Okay. Well, I noticed in the police impound video that side car cover seat was missing, which tells me there must have been something on it, right?
Maybe.
I mean, I watch a lot of true crime and a lot of forensic files and cold case files. So, like,
You too.
that's what I got out of that.
Yeah.
And also, like, the video today from his dad standing out there looking so jolly and carefree.
I saw that too.
To
That was
me,
weird.
that speaks volumes. Like, if you
first of all, okay, his son is not dead. If his son was dead, he wouldn't be laughing like that, first of all.
Hmm.
And second of all, like, I mean, even if your kid was missing, would you be out there being, I don't think so. I don't
Yeah,
want
they're a little
that.
too nonchalant about their kid missing.
Well, and also, I guess the other thing that has really stood out in this case for me is, did they not love her? I mean, it sounds like from his parents that when they got engaged, like, the mom was so happy and everything. So why all of a sudden would you be like, we don't give a crap where Gabby's at? Why wouldn't you be like, hello, where is Gabby? I
I
don't
feel like
know.
the
That
parents have
bothers
to know
me.
that
What?
deep down inside, like,
I think you're laughing at me
no,
again.
no, like, you're right. Like, the parents are acting very weird. Like, there's no way that these people couldn't have inferred that their son did something to
I
her.
mean, if she lived with them,
Yeah,
you think they'd be like, son, where's Gabby?
especially when the other family's calling you about her. Like,
Thank
that's
you.
like the,
Thank you.
I don't know, real eye opener. Like,
I I will have to say I haven't watched the entire or second half of Dr. Phil, and to be honest with you, I have never liked Dr. Phil. I'm sorry, well, maybe he's got a voice like mine and gets on my nerves. I don't know.
it's all good.
But anyway, like, from what I kind of gathered though from the little excerpts I've seen,
Hmm.
like the stepfather, it sounds like they showed him specifically where her body was found, and that's where he laid the cross that he made out of like river rock.
Hmm. Yeah, because he had the
And so
do a positive ID, I guess, on her, or
I mean, it just makes you wonder, like, do they maybe know more?
I mean, I think they know a little
Maybe
more
maybe
than we
the
do.
FBI has told them a little more, but they're like, you can't reveal this.
Yeah.
And again, from watching all the forensic files, what, you're laughing at me
No,
again?
I'm not
You
laughing.
stop that, Alex.
No, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. You're right. I believe the family knows a little
My
more than we do.
initials are AL, and you know that song, You Can Call Me Al? Well, you're Al too, so come on, Al, let's get on the same page.
We're on the same page.
No, like, I just think that, like, maybe the FBI told them more, but they're like, you cannot let this out.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, this can kill our case if you let this out.
Oh yeah.
But out of respect for you as a family, we're going to tell you this.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that.
I mean, that's just the
And I think
thought.
as like the family, you wouldn't want their case to be killed because like it's the only way you'd really get justice for your daughter. So they probably keep it like they'll know, but they won't tell the whole world.
Exactly, you wouldn't. You're laughing at me again.
No, I think
Oh
we're
my
on the same
God.
page. We're on the complete same page.
Then why do I keep? I mean, I've got you muted so I can talk to you without feedback, but I swear to God, you're laughing at me. Oh, somebody says it looks like you're laughing and drinking wine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I have a glass of wine every live stream.
It's some Jesus good. It's, I
It's just one
mean,
glass.
I'd probably go the vodka route,
Oh wow.
but
Vodka makes me sleep.
no, I'm trying to lighten the mood, but like, I hope I didn't make a complete idiot out of myself, and
No, you're doing great. Thanks for
and I
calling
hope
in.
that everybody like doesn't hate me.
No, definitely not.
Okay, well, it was nice to talk to you, Al.
Nice talking to you too. Thanks for calling in. I really appreciate it.
You have a good night.
You too. Hey guys, anybody else want to call in? So confused as to why that doesn't. Alright guys, we'll just keep watching news. Feel free to call in. Cover the Maya McCartan case earlier. Person that drops like is. Channel. So Christopher Ramirez. Wow, they FBI that's good.
Yo no sé ya nada de él, ya pasó mucho tiempo. Yo no sé qué hacer. Por favor, todos ayúdenme, regresen a mi niño, estoy desesperada. Mi corazón está roto, por favor, regresenme a mi niño. Ayúdenme, por favor.
We have drained the one pond of interest. It might have been of concern. We finished that about 35, 40 minutes ago. The child was not found in the pond, which is good news. It was a concern. We had to deduct that from the possibilities of. And so that's really all I have. We're reconning back here, as you see, to go to Plan B for the evening. We'll be running people through here at night like we did last night. We'll have another team coming in the morning. We have our investigators working on parts of this case. We have our searchers working on parts of it. We have our documenters.
And right now it's 6 o'clock.
I appreciate every single one of you guys watching. Please leave a like and sub. I'm gonna grow my page, guys.
Desperate search in Grimes County. A 3-year-old missing for nearly 30 hours now. His mother pleading for his return.
She's
begging for help, for somebody to please help her find her son. She needs his mom.
As investigators search a wooded area near the family's home, his mother fears the worst. She believes someone may have taken her son. Divers, helicopters, canines, investigators are really using all of their resources tonight to search for little Christopher Ramirez.
They are searching near the family's home right along Deer Park Lane in Plantersville, which is in Grimes County. KPRC 2's Rochelle Turner live there tonight with the latest on the search. Rochelle?
Sadly, 3-year-old Christopher Ramirez has not been found. We've been here all day watching a number of agencies, including Texas EquiSearch and the FBI, look for the little boy. His mother thinks someone took him, but the sheriff says at this point there are no signs of abduction or foul play. Araceli Nunez is pleading for help to find her 3-year-old son, Christopher Ramirez.
She's asking everybody to please help her find her baby. It's been a while. and she wants her baby to return.
This command post on Deer Park Lane, crowded with hundreds of volunteers, police, fire, and rescue agencies, have spent the past 24 hours searching for the little boy. Crews are using every resource they have, including K9 dogs, boats, helicopters, drones, and ATVs. But so far, no signs of Christopher. The last time Nunez saw her son was around 1 p.m. yesterday. She and her mother were unloading groceries at their home on FM 1447 when Christopher started chasing the neighbor's dog. Moments later, he was gone, and she took off trying to find him.
She ran fast, calling his name. She thinks somebody has her son and is hiding him from her.
I hope nobody abducted the child like the mother suspects, feels her heart's broken.
Grimes County Sheriff Donald Sowell is optimistic about finding the toddler, but says he will expand the search if necessary.
If we have intelligence that leads us that way, but right now we're focused on the immediate area. We are looking at, a day later. There's nothing to show us. There's nothing to show us at this point with all our law enforcement partners, foul play or an abduction.
The sheriff says they checked 2 sex offenders in this area and they were both cleared. We all know how critical time is in situations like this. The sheriff says they won't stop searching until little Christopher Ramirez is found. Reporting live in Grimes County, I'm Rochelle Turner, KPRC 2 News.
Well, this morning, a father and a wife left trying to make sense of the senseless violence after this young man, 43.
I was going to say 2 things. I found out that most of the people on the planet are good, but there's some really...
But it does get you thinking, doesn't it? Can any of us who is a parent really know how would we react if we were in the same situation? I know you'll say I would do the right thing. I know you'd say that. But Wyoming is a death penalty state. And before all of this, those Laundries were just average American grandparents. Love and morals are 2 very different things, no matter how tight the spot you are in. Joining us now to help us break this down is forensic psychiatrist Dr. Michael Wellner. Dr. Wellner, it's good to see you. I just would love for you to weigh in on this. How hard is it for us to put ourselves in the Laundrie's shoes when we all, throw the epithet?
Brian Laundrie was under surveillance before he disappeared, police say. Wait a second.
He's a survival.
This just makes everything worse. We were watching him, and then we lost him. What?
Expert who lived in Northport, Florida, where the search is underway. For Brian Laundrie and Cassie Jordan, a criminologist and behavioral analyst. Thanks to both. So, Dave, Brian Laundrie's parents are convinced he's in this nature preserve. That's what they've been saying, and that they wouldn't look anywhere else. If Laundrie has been there for the past 25 days, how likely do you think it is that he could still be alive and, undetected to this point?
I think a lot of that depends really on how prepared he was when he entered the area to begin with. If he had supplies in a backpack, which it's rumored that he had ways to disinfect water through filtration and cover elements to protect himself from the weather and things like that, he could survive for a certain period of time. But if he had ways to gather food and process that food, he could survive even longer. The question really becomes, if you can gather food, how are you going to process and cook that food without starting fire? And if your filtration fails, how are you going to disinfect the water without fire? Starting fire is going to be a big no-no for him if he doesn't want to get found or seen. So I think it's going to be very difficult for him to stay out there for a very long period of time. But I think up to this point, he could have enough stuff in a backpack to have gotten along this far and still be there.
What do you guys think?
A Maryland man allegedly killed his own brother over a COVID vaccine conspiracy theory. Court documents show that Jeffrey Burnham wanted to confront his older brother, who was a pharmacist, for giving people the shots. Burnham is also accused of killing his sister-in-law and an elderly woman. CNN's Polo Sandoval has more details on this. This is horrific.
Yeah, Brianna, charging documents newly obtained by
This is wild, guys.
show that Jeffrey Burnham's mother had initially called police. It's according to that report, and in that report, she claimed that she questioned her son's mental stability. That man, by the way, he's a 46-year-old Maryland man that's behind bars right now, accused of killing 3 people about a week ago, among them his brother, who was a pharmacist. Now, those documents allege that Burnham told his mother before the murders that he planned to confront his brother, Brian Robinette, over him administering COVID vaccines. According to his mother's claim to police, Burnham had this bizarre and baseless belief that the government was using COVID vaccines to poison people and that his brother Brian knew something about it. Well, investigators in Howard County, Maryland, believe that Burnham killed his brother and his wife, Kelly Sue Robinette, only after stabbing an elderly woman to death. Police right now alleging that the motive in the killing of 83-year-old Rebecca Reynolds was simply to use her car. Burnham was tracked down by police, charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder, and remains without bond. As of this morning, CNN did reach out to multiple authorities, waiting to hear back. That includes the local public defender's office and also the county state attorney's office, to try to hear and learn more about this case that is just bizarre as it is disturbing, Brianna.
A straight-from-the-shoulder message for Dog the Bounty Hunter from his daughters.
I'm disappointed in you. And my mom would be too, and you know it.
22-year-old Bonnie Chapman and her sister Cecily are estranged from their famous dad. They claim they were cut out of his life after the death of their mother, Beth, from throat cancer in 2019.
When my mom passed away, my dad pretty much neglected us. He lost his wife, I lost my mother. I lost my life, I lost my house, I lost my job, I lost everything. We lost everything.
They also accuse him of repeatedly cheating on their mom.
How do you know he cheated?
My mom confided in me. My mom confided in us. She loves my father with all of her heart. And she wanted him to change, but we wanted him to change.
The family rift is so deep that they...
I'm so sorry, guys.
They were not invited to his wedding to his 6th wife, Francie, earlier this month. The day before their wedding, Dog and his bride had this to say on Entertainment Tonight.
I'm not going to allow our day to be ruined by this nonsense.
He's in puppy dog love, and that's fine. I want him to be happy. Of course I want him to move on.
Yeah, of course.
But neglecting his life and who he is and his family and his daughters, it's gross.
Bonnie claims she was told they were not invited because of their support for the Black Lives Matter movement.
Why would they disinvite you because you're taking part in Black Lives Matter protests?
I think that my father might have a problem with Black Lives Matter.
Bonnie is currently appearing on The System for the streaming service Unleashed. The show features young activists involved in Black Lives Matter and other causes. Dog Chapman continues dealing with the aftershocks of a racist rant directed at his son Tucker, who was dating a woman of color in 2007.
We use the word sometimes here. I'm not going to take a chance of losing everything I've worked for 30 years because some heard us say.
I'm still to this day disgusted that even came out of my father's mouth.
Dog Chapman is denying every one of his daughter's bombshell allegations.
It feels like yesterday that we were all a family, we were all working together, we were all doing things together, and it's just not that way anymore.
Wow, it's an addition of all news. I think I may call it quits. 11:30. Appreciate everyone for tuning in.